Ondas Inc. is currently trading at $9.42, showing a strong intraday jump of nearly 4% as of 11:26 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 12, 2026. This activity comes as investors scramble to position themselves ahead of a massive earnings call scheduled for Thursday morning. While the broader market might see this as just another pre-earnings rally, the reality is that we are witnessing a massive structural shift in how this company operates. Most people looking at their Interactive Brokers trading platform see a niche drone player, but the reality is that the recent merger with Mistral Inc. has fundamentally changed the DNA of this business. We are looking at a newly minted defense prime contractor that is now eligible for direct U.S. government contracts that were previously out of reach. This creates a fascinating tension because the market expects growth, but the reality of the Mistral integration suggests a level of scale that could catch the consensus completely off guard. When you pull up Ondas Inc. on the Robinhood app or check your individual brokerage account, the numbers look solid on the surface, but a deeper look at recent SEC filings reveals a bit of a tug-of-war. Just a few days ago, the company registered shares for resale tied to their Worldview and Mistral acquisitions. This introduces a specific type of pressure because while the business is expanding, there is a potential overhang of shares hitting the market. However, the selling stockholders are capped at a 10% daily volume limit. This is a classic setup where short-term supply might mask long-term fundamental strength. Many retail investors using investing sites might see the share registration and get nervous about dilution, but the reality is that these shares are tied to acquisitions that are expected to be immediately accretive to the top line. This is the kind of detail that separates a surface-level trader from someone doing real online investing research. The momentum we are seeing today is largely driven by a massive surge in the defense backlog. Following the Mistral deal, Ondas is no longer just selling wireless radios to railroads. They are now a key player in counter-drone systems and high-altitude sensing. If you are looking for investment help on how to play this, you have to look at the sector momentum. Defense technology is seeing a structural tailwind that hasn't been this strong in decades. While the general expectation was that Ondas would slowly grow its commercial drone business, the reality is that the defense sector has become the primary engine. This shift is why you are seeing institutional activity pick up on more sophisticated platforms like the Interactive Brokers platform. Large players are moving in because they see a company that has successfully moved from a speculative tech firm to a defense contractor with a tangible backlog. It is worth noting that while stocks like Nvidia stock or Apple stock get all the headlines for their massive market caps, smaller players like Ondas are where the real volatility and opportunity often hide for those who self-invest. If you use the Fidelity mobile app or check your Fidelity brokerage account, you might notice that Ondas has been one of the top performers in the small-cap defense space over the last few months. The company's FullMax software-defined radio platform remains a staple for mission-critical communications, but the drone interceptor systems are what's truly moving the needle right now. The Iron Drone Raider and the Centrix platforms are being looked at by government agencies as essential infrastructure for site protection. This isn't just about cool tech, it's about solving a very real, very expensive security problem that the government is willing to pay for. The trading volumes today on the Robinhood trading platform show a high level of retail engagement, but the institutional side is where the real story is. Those holding long-term positions in their SoFi active investing accounts are likely looking at the May 14th earnings as the ultimate litmus test. The company needs to show that the cash burn is being reined in as these acquisitions start to contribute to the bottom line. Comment below how many shares of Ondas Inc. you currently hold, or if you are waiting for the earnings report before you start buying. This kind of interaction is crucial because it gives us a pulse on how the community is feeling about these high-growth defense plays. Some are worried that the recent 9x surge over the last few years means the easy gains are gone, but when you compare the current valuation to other defense primes, there might still be plenty of room to run if the execution remains flawless. Looking at the business model, it's a two-pronged approach. You have Ondas Networks and Ondas Autonomous Systems. The network side is the old-school, reliable bread and butter, providing secure wireless for railroads and utilities. But the autonomous system side is where the massive upside lives. By integrating Mistral, they have effectively bought a seat at the big kids table in Washington. This means they are no longer just a subcontractor, they are the prime. For anyone using an intelligent portfolio or checking their Fidelity Wealth Management dashboard, this kind of vertical integration is a major green flag. It reduces the dependency on middlemen and allows for higher margins on long-term government contracts. The reality of being a prime contractor is that the contracts are bigger, longer, and much harder for competitors to displace once you are locked in. The macroeconomic pressure is the one thing that could throw a wrench in the gears. Higher interest rates generally hurt small-cap tech, but defense spending is largely decoupled from the standard economic cycle. This is why you see people moving capital out of traditional tech and into defense-heavy ETFs, or picking individual names like Ondas and their individual brokerage. Whether you are using the Interactive Brokers fee schedule to your advantage or trading fractional shares on the Robinhood app, the strategy here is about identifying the pivot point.
Ondas has spent years building the foundation, and 2026 seems to be the year where that foundation finally starts supporting a massive skyscraper of revenue. The market narrative says this is a risky small cap, but the reality is a company that has strategically positioned itself at the intersection of two of the most important trends of the decade: autonomous systems and national security. In terms of future outlook, the upcoming earnings call will likely focus on three things: the Mistral integration progress, the current state of the defense backlog, and the guidance for the second half of the year. Investors are looking for proof that the recent stock performance is backed by actual numbers. If they beat expectations on revenue, we could see another leg up. If the reality falls short, specifically on the margin side, we might see some of the recent gains being given back. This is the tension that makes stock trading so engaging. You have a clear expectation of growth, but the reality of a complex merger integration is always messy. Those who have a SoFi robo-advisor or a Schwab Intelligent Portfolios account might not see this level of detail, as those systems are built for broad market exposure, but for the self-directed investor, these are the nuances that matter. The technical setup on the charts shows that we are approaching a key resistance level. If we can break through the recent highs with strong volume, it signals that the market has fully priced in the dilution concerns and is focusing on the growth narrative. For those using Fidelity mutual funds or Fidelity ETFs, you might not be exposed to this specific name directly, but it represents a broader trend in the tech defense sector that is worth watching. The way this company has rebranded and restructured suggests a management team that is very aware of how to appeal to institutional investors. They are moving away from the speculative drone startup image and toward a mission-critical infrastructure and defense image. This is a subtle but very important distinction that affects how the stock is valued by the street. As we look toward the end of the trading day, the intraday movement is holding steady, which is a good sign for the bulls. It shows that the morning's gains weren't just a flash in the pan. Traders are holding their positions into the afternoon, suggesting confidence in the pre-earnings momentum. Whether you are checking your Robinhood crypto and stock balance or looking at your Interactive Brokers account, the sentiment is clearly shifting toward the positive. The curiosity loop for Ondas is simple. Can a small company actually become a major player in the defense space? The early data says yes, but the reality will be proven in the quarterly reports. This isn't just about a stock price, it's about a company trying to prove it can play in the big leagues. In summary, the expectation for Ondas Inc. is that it will continue to ride the defense spending wave, while the reality is that the company is currently navigating a complex period of integration and share registration. The jump to $9.42 today is a clear indication that the market is leaning toward the growth story. We've seen the defense backlog surge, the Mistral merger close, and the company reposition itself as a prime contractor. These are all major milestones that contrast sharply with the image of the company from just 2 years ago. The central insight here is that the structural changes to the business model are far more important than any single day's price movement. The authority this company is gaining in the defense sector is a deep fundamental change that is just now being reflected in the share price. As we wait for the May 14th earnings, the tension between what we expect and what the numbers show will be the primary driver of volatility. Keep a close eye on the volume and the institutional filings, as they will tell the real story of where this is headed. Ending today on a strong note reinforces the idea that the market is looking past the short-term dilution and focusing on the long-term potential of this defense tech hybrid. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do your own research before investing. Market involves risk. Like this video, comment your thoughts, outshare with your friends, bell subscribe for more updates.